Hello everybody, it's Mr. Q again. What's up? I hope you guys are staying safe and having fun. Today, I'm going to be eating at this restaurant called Pelicans. It's a seafood steakhouse. And we're going to be talking about what you should expect when eating out at a restaurant in America. Alright, I don't have my mask on because I'm outside, but you'll notice that people on the inside might have their masks on because we're still under the pandemic and needing to protect ourselves and be socially distant. But today we're going to be talking about what to expect when eating at an American restaurant. So let's head on inside and let's see what we see. The first thing you'll come to when you enter most restaurants in America is the waiting area. And attached to the waiting area is the hostess or host stand. So you can check in with the host or hostess, and if you've made a reservation, tell them we called in for a reservation and this is the name, or you can tell them how many people are there to eat now, and then you can sit and wait, or you can go outside and wait. So as soon as you walk into the restaurant, the first place you come to is the hostess desk, where you can call in a reservation, or you can walk in and they can put you on a list so that you can be seated. If you call in advance, then they will reserve a table for you so that nobody else will sit there during the time that you're supposed to be there. Or sometimes instead of a reserved table, it'll be a blank table that no one can sit at because of social distancing. And so there will be enough space between each of the tables so nobody gets sick from somebody else. So here I am now. I get to be sitting at my table, and the waiter or waitress, the waitstaff, will be here shortly to talk about what kind of drinks we might want and to tell us about any house specials that will be available today. Currently, where I am in New Mexico right now, the social distancing rules for eating at a restaurant says you can only have 6 people at a table. So you can see me with my family, my mom and dad and aunt and uncle, sitting at the table, getting ready to have some of our meal. We've already received our drinks. So you can see how he has brought some waters for the table without being asked.
Although I have served you guys plenty of times so but the other one is
so you can see here that most restaurants in America will bring you some sort of bread or chips. It's usually free. Here at the Pelicans, they have a sauteed garlic that spreads just like butter. It's delicious. So you can see how this garlic spreads just like butter.
This one's least open.
Yeah.
See right there?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it is a little open.
It's a little.
She just put some fresh ones in there too.
Cool.
Chrysanthemums and daisies.
Yeah.
So I thought that.
So garlicky, very delicious.
He is Italian.
So sometimes when you eat seafood, they have shells, and the restaurants will bring a bowl for you to put the shells into so that your table doesn't get very dirty. So you can see here in America how we have empty plates and a full shell bowl, and the waitstaff will come and clear that away for you automatically without you even having to ask. They don't leave dirty stuff on the table for very long. Some places like having their oysters cold instead of hot. So they're not cooked, they're raw, and they're cold. They do have some butter in them, but you can add some extra sauces like some shrimp cocktail sauce or Tabasco sauce to give them a little extra flavor, a little extra kick. So sometimes we get some crab. In America we get king crab when they're really big. You can see that they're bigger than his hand. And say what you were saying again?
they try to cut it in the kitchen for you. It's never enough. So try to get your fork in.
A lot tougher than the others.
The shell on a king crab leg is much harder to crack, so it's much more difficult than the snow crab leg, the smaller crab legs.
Correct.
So you can use a fork. If you notice, these forks are very strong. They only have 3 prongs in them. So you can break them, and then you can pull out that giant piece of meat out of the middle there. And then you can dunk it in the drawn butter. That's the melted butter.
Awesome. Another spoon? Can I get you guys anything else?
Here we have the clam chowder. There's a bunch of clam pieces inside this soup. And this is a catfish. It's a fish, it's a white fish, and it's fried. So delicious. Some people go to a seafood place and get meat. This person got prime rib. You can see on the prime rib the marbling, that's the fat. That makes prime rib even more delicious.
Henrietta on 3. You guys ready? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Oh yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Henry. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. Here's to the next 80.
There you go. And many more.
So you get your dessert usually for free at an American restaurant if it's your birthday.
Right.
And the custom is if you can blow out all your candles in one breath, you can get a wish for.
Get a non-blowoutable.
And this is a mud pie, ice cream
It's all
cake kind of thing with whipped cream on it. So delicious. When people have dessert, they might also have a coffee
It is.
or a tea or a cognac or some alcoholic drink after.
Celebrations for that.
So if you don't eat all your food, it is very common to get a to-go box to take your food home with you so you can have another meal with
You
it.
ate most of your damn
It was
life.
so delicious at the table, it'll be just as delicious warmed up, hopefully.
I went out to a very nice dinner last night and enjoyed the dinner. Got the check at the end of the meal. Started thinking about the check at the end of the meal system. Not a real good system, I think. Money, if you think about it, it's a very different thing before and after you eat. Before you eat, money has absolutely no value. Do you know that when you sit down at the table, you're like the ruler of an empire? More drinks, more appetizers. We must have everything immediately, the greatest meal of our lives. Then after you eat, first of all, when you're really full, you can't remember ever being hungry ever in your life. You know, you got the pants open, napkins destroyed, cigarette butt in the mashed potatoes. You know, it's not really festive. They give you the check, people are like, what is this? I don't understand. People are always mystified by the check, aren't they? They start passing it around the table. Does this look right to you? We're not hungry now. Why are we buying all this food? Sometimes you go to these nice restaurants, they put the check in a little book. You ever get this? What is this? The story of the bill. You know, once upon a time, somebody got the chicken, just the little gold tassel. I'm not the last emperor. What's the damage? Let's get out of here.
I want to remind you that being friendly is an important part of interacting with service personnel. It doesn't matter if it's a flight attendant on a plane or your wait staff in a restaurant. Being nice to them will encourage them to want to be nicer to you. And as a result, you can receive better service, and sometimes they can give you things and not charge you for them. And think of the alternative, though, that occasionally you have some people who maybe don't like their jobs that much, and if you're mean to them, they will be mean back to you, and that might include them doing something to your food that you don't want them doing to your food. So it always pays to be nice to your waitstaff.
Here's a check me and Larry Miller used to do all the time. So I thought maybe later we could grab. You just keep talking, but your eyes can't help but react. So I thought maybe if you drove the car back that we could.
Are you waiting for me to offer up some cash? Should I feign contempt?
How many more times are you going to laugh at that? Okay, the check is $37. How much tip would you leave?
10.
You go to hell.
That's not enough?
No.
Wait, you moved the decimals. It was a $40 check. You would leave $8 would be 20%. No, Russell, would you help me?
I'll help you. Because everyone's going to ask her, oh my God, you waited on Jerry Seinfeld and Sarah Jessica Parker. How much did they tip you?
How much did he
What do
tip
you want her to say?
$20?
Yeah, is that what you want to say? 10. You just moved the decimal point.
Second. Okay, wait. You're going to leave. Wow, big shot. Big shot. Unbelievable.
Gross?
Disgusting.
Garish?
Vulgar. No, it's lovely. I'm a
Fables
total
here.
But for real. Like, I know, all joking
what
aside.
is it real? What is real? You
Okay.
tell me what real is, and we'll have really gotten something out of
Really
this
glad we are not married.
It's worth mentioning that when eating out, especially in America, usually you'll pay with cash or credit card. In America, and in many other countries, it's not very common to be able to pay with electronic form of payment like WeChat Pay or Apple Pay or Samsung Pay. Yes, they are available with some businesses, but it's not very common. So don't expect to be able to pay with any of those electronic services in America. You should come prepared to pay with cash or credit card, and if you can use the electronic service, great. But it's not likely that you'll be able to use that. And so as having dinner, we weren't able to pay with those. We had to pay with a credit card and cash. So I hope you guys enjoyed having dinner with me and my family last night. Yes, it was my aunt's birthday, and that's why we were there. But I want to recap with you guys how the dinner went. So, first thing you do, oftentimes before you even go to the restaurant, is to make a reservation. Call them or go online to their website and see if they have seating available at the time you want to go. And in the location of the restaurant that you want to go. Do you want to sit on the balcony out or the patio outside? They probably don't have as many seats out there, so it's good to check to see if they have seating available. Plus, right now with social distancing, and they aren't able to have as many people sitting inside or in their restaurant at all, it's important that people are trying to eat out, you know, they want to get out of their house, so it's important to check and make sure that you don't have to show up and then wait for a very long time to be able to be seated. So make a reservation, and once you get to the restaurant, you'll check in with the hostess. Remember, right now, you'll probably need a mask from the moment you enter until the moment you sit down at your table. Once you're at your table, you can take off your mask, because otherwise, how will you eat? You're trying to eat through the mask, right? No, that doesn't work very well. So right now, just be prepared to have your mask on from the door to your table. Then you can take it off at the table, eat and whatever, and then put it back on to leave. So you check in with the hostess, and then she'll take you to your seat when your table's ready. And then the wait staff will come, and usually automatically, without even asking, they'll bring you some water and ask you if you want anything else to drink, and they'll tell you about the specials that they have. Then you can look through the menu and see what kind of delicious food that you want to eat. Sometimes it's a hard decision to decide. So you might have to ask the waiter or waitress to come back in a minute, let you think about it a little bit more. So oftentimes you might get an appetizer like we did last night, where we got the calamari and we got some oysters. And then you can have your first course. Most restaurants that are pretty nice will have soup and salad included in your meal. That would be your first course. Then you'll have your main course. And you saw that we had a combination of fish and crab and steak, prime rib. And then you can have a dessert. And you saw that because of her birthday, they brought a free ice cream mudslide. It was very delicious, very chocolatey, very tasty. And if you don't finish your food, because it can sometimes be a lot, you can get a to-go box. And you can put the food that you want to eat later in the box, take it home, and then you can warm it up later. And in America, you'll probably almost certainly need to pay with cash or credit card. So be prepared with that. And when you pay, you should give a tip. In America, it's very customary that you give your waitstaff a tip. So whatever your bill total is, give them a portion of that. So if your bill is $100, then you can tip them usually 10 to 20%, depending on how good they are. So if you want to tip them in the middle, 15%, then your bill is $100, and so you would tip them $15, so your final total will be $115. It's very important because wait staff in America doesn't get a high salary. So they supplement, they get extra money because customers like them, and they give them money for the good service they provided. So in America, you should tip your wait staff at the restaurants. I know many countries, tipping is not customary. It's not a good thing. People, they are even offended sometimes if you try to tip them. So, but in America, they get offended if you don't tip them. All right. So your homework today is to think about the last time you went out to dinner and how similar was it to my dinner that I had. And I want you to think about, did you have different courses? Did you have soup and salad? Did you have a main course? Did you have a dessert? I want you to think about what you ate. And I want you to think about the service you received. Were the people, the waitstaff, friendly to you? Did they clear the dishes from your table before you asked them to? So write all that down, try to get at least 10 sentences, and then share with your classmates. All right, guys, that's it for me today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.